I get to the immigration, he is looking at me with questionable eyes like, hello, what is up you guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Arby. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. For today's video, I'm just gonna talk about my first travel experience. If you may have seen from my channel, I have different interests. This time, I also want to talk about my interest for travel because I like traveling. That's what we're going to talk about today. My first travel abroad. When I was a kid, I already liked going places because I grew up in the countryside and there's not much to do. It's a very little town there. So whenever we go to other towns or in the city, I'm very excited to come along. So when I was in high school and then I came to Manila, I was really amazed because I was able to see many things for the first time that I only saw on TV. When I was in college, I dropped out because I feel like we need a lot of money for me to continue my studies and I'm not really feeling the course that I took. I mean, I don't really like it. I feel like even if I finish the 4-year course, I'm not going to be pursuing that kind of profession. That was my reason for dropping out. So I was a bum for 2 years, really just at home, not doing anything. And then my siblings were abroad at the time. They were working in Singapore. And to my surprise, they booked me a flight to go there because I wasn't going to school, so I was just at home. I was free, basically. So I was really excited when I found out that I had a ticket to go to Singapore, but I was also a little scared because I was still young back then and I've never ridden on a plane before. They just booked me to go there, so nobody was going to go with me from Manila to Singapore. So I'd be flying alone in a foreign country and I was still like a teenager back then. One reason also that they wanted me to go there is that they said that the stuff there are expensive, so they wanted me to buy many things here in the Philippines that they missed or they wanted to have there because it's more expensive there. So basically, I had to do grocery and I have all these noodles and canned goods that I need to bring there. They actually asked me to buy a lot of things, so I had to use a really huge baggage. I think that was the baggage used with my sibling went to Barbados. They just booked me a budget Air Cebu Pacific flight, so they had to also include baggage allowance. I think like 2 baggage allowance because my baggage is very massive. Like it's the biggest size for a baggage, I think, you know, when you have all your life in your bag. I packed it all with just grocery stuff, so it's full actually. Like I maximized the space, so I had this very huge luggage with me and my flight was departing from the Clark Airport, so I had to go to Clark in just that Macapagal Airport with that heavy luggage with me. So I went there alone and I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I just went through the process. And then when I get to the immigration, they asked me, what are you going to do there? And I just said that I'm going there because my siblings are there. They're working there. He is looking at me with questionable eyes, like he is not convinced that I'm going there with my siblings and that I look so young to go there alone, you know. So he asked, where's the ID of your siblings? They were asking for a proof or a document that I could show that I really have a sibling that worked there. Luckily, my sisters know the date of my flight and they wanted to ensure that I get on board. So they were calling me from overseas, and so I informed them that they're looking for a document, so I wasn't allowed to go through the immigration. They asked me to inform you that I will need some documentation or a proof that you guys are working there. So luckily, they sent me an email, and then there was an office there at the airport where they let me check my email and also print it for me, which is really nice. I was able to print it out and then go back to the line, and then the immigration finally accepted the document and then let me through. So that was such a relief. When I got on the plane, it was my first time and it's going overseas. I was alone, so there's a lot of things that's going through my mind. But once we take off, I was so scared because I felt like the plane is going to fall. Why? Because it's taking a while to go up, and I have this feeling that the plane is like not able to carry the weight because we could not get off from the field. I can still see the field and it's still there, and it seems like we are not able to get so far from the ground. You know what I mean? Like, oh boy, it's been like 2 minutes. We should have been already like way off from the airport, but yeah, I'm not sure if they were just trying to turn, but that was the feeling. I was terrified because the plane was like going sideways, and I thought that anytime this could fall. But luckily, yeah, I was able to arrive at the Changi airport. I was so amazed when we were actually landing at the Changi airport because it's my first time to see a foreign land, you know. I was able to get through the immigrations at Changi as well because I have this ID from my sister. And then when I got out of the airport, my sibling wasn't there yet, and I have no means of communication. I was instructed that I should just wait there near the entrance. So I just sat there, and then after a few minutes, I saw my sibling coming to pick me up. The airport is a little far. I think it's an hour to the city. But as I was looking through from the train, I was really amazed by the surroundings because Singapore looks so organized, it's clean, and it looks like the government's taking care of the surroundings because everything seemed to look like they're perfectly in place. It feels so real to me because when I was just about to go to Singapore, I wasn't really expecting anything. I went to Singapore at a time when traveling for leisure is not very common as it is right now. So I don't see a lot of pictures about what I was about to see there. Vlogs and photos on Instagram about different cities is not yet a thing back then, you know. So the feeling that I have in the train while I'm looking at the surroundings was that, wow, this place is really rich. It gives me the feeling that the people there have money, you know what I mean? Because when you look at the surroundings, it's not like they just randomly build something there. No, it's like everything was planned, like their urban planning or something like that. It's like an upper class place, you know what I mean? When we get to the train station near my sibling's apartment, it's a little far, you know, walking, and I have this very, very heavy luggage with me, carrying it all the way there. But taxi is expensive, so we just walk. And then, of course, I did what I came there for. So I explored the city, have sightseeing, tour around to see the attractions of Singapore. So it was really an amazing feeling when I first went to the Marina Bay because there's a lot of distractions there which you only see on the pictures or on TV. I was able to see there, of course, the baby merlion, and then the Esplanade, and then the Flyer, Singapore Flyer, and the Marina Bay Sands. So there was no Gardens by the Bay at the time yet. And of course, we also went to Sentosa. It's the small island with the mother merlion and so many, you know, attraction there, and of course the beach. And the Universal Studios was just new at that time, but we didn't go there. I remember that we also went to Singapore Botanical Gardens. That garden is so wide, it's so big, like wow, we have been walking for how many minutes now? Or maybe because there aren't any big park or garden in the Philippines, that's why I say it's big. Yeah. But yeah, it's like a forest, you know. One thing that I also like in Singapore was that they have a lot of food. My sister was just renting a room, so they were in a house that they shared by other Pinoys. And if you check their fridge, it's packed of food. So it looks like they like eating there because there are a lot of things in the fridge. And also, there are a lot of cafeteria just below the building. Anybody can just go if they want to have some meal or snack. It's all expensive, but it's so satisfying because they have big servings. Like, it's a lot, so you'll really get yourself stuffed. I really love the food there. I don't know, even if it's just around the street, it tastes like it's the food that you'd be served from fast food. I think a day before my departure back to the Philippines, they give me money so that, just in case I would need it. Because on the day of my departure, they were at work, so nobody is going to go with me to the airport, so I had to go there alone. For some reason, all the Singapore dollar they have, I actually have them changed to peso at a money changer because I thought that when I get back to the Philippines, these dollars will be of no use to me. Although I was actually a little worried because the EasyLink or the card that you use in riding the subway, I remember that the last time I used it, the balance is kind of a little low. So I was just hoping that I will still be able to use it and that it's enough for me to get to the airport. So I went there, but when I tapped in the card, it didn't let me through. It has that red sign saying that it's below $5 or $10, so I could not get through the turnstile and ride the train. And at that point, I panicked because actually I just have enough time for me to get to the airport. Should there be no issues along the way, I had to top up the card before I can ride the train. And the problem is that there was no money changer at that subway station, so I had to go out and I have to find money changer so that I can change my peso to dollar and then I could top up. But there wasn't any money changer near it, so I had to go a little far from the station, and it took me a while to have my money exchanged to dollar. And I was already running because I want to catch my flight. So once I got back to the station, I topped up the card and then I was able to get through the turnstile and got in the train quickly. However, it took me maybe less than an hour to have my money exchanged and then topped up to ride a train. On the way to the airport, I was already hoping that the plane that I'm about to board will be delayed. And then I got to the airport at the same exact time of my departure. I frantically looked at the departure board to check my flight number, and there I saw that it just departed. So basically, I went there for nothing, and I was like, oh boy. So I just wasted my flight back home. So I was trying to be frugal with the money that I'll be putting on the EasyLink card. I thought that I want to maximize the use of it. I don't want it to have balance while I go to the Philippines because I'm not going to be able to use it. So I just want to make it just the right amount to get me to the airport. However, that was not the case. I just went back to the apartment, and then when my siblings got home from work, they were shocked why I was still there. So I informed them. They booked me another flight, so I was able to extend my stay for a few more days. So that was it. For my first travel abroad, I was questioned at the immigration, and also when coming back home, I was left by the plane. Alright, so that is all for now. I still have many other travel stories that I would like to share, so kindly subscribe to my channel for future videos, and I hope to see you soon again. Ciao!